Can someone please explain to me what just happened? How in the world did Tyrese Haliburton fall out of the top 3, no, let alone the top 10 draft picks in the NBA draft? Are these teams stupid?
Well, let's be nice.
Yeah.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong.
Alright, let me ask you guys a question. If you had the first through the 11th pick in the NBA draft, would you take a chance on Haliburton? I don't care if it was the first, second, or third. I'm taking him. Now let me explain. Tyrese Haliburton is a 6'5" point guard. He played college ball at Iowa State. During his sophomore year, he had a breakout season, averaging 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, and 2.5 steals per game. With that type of performance, he should have been selected with the top 3 pick in that draft. But he fell all the way down to the 12th pick to the Kings. Even the Kings GM, Monte McNair, couldn't believe that Tyrese fell that far in their lap.
Yeah, no, we were really excited that Tyrese fell to us. I think, like you said, he's an incredible talent on both ends. Offensively, a very good passer, a good shooter. He can finish, offensive rebound. He's really got a versatile skill set on that end. And then defensively, I think he can guard multiple positions the way the league's going.
And despite the Kings praising him and believing in his skills, they would eventually trade him in less than 2 years with the team. A trade would go down with the Indiana Pacers, where the Kings would receive Sabonis, a pack of cigarettes, and a trash can, and the Pacers receive a future NBA star in Tyrese and a lethal three-point shooter in Buddy Hield. Fast forward 3 years later, Tyrese is a 2-time NBA All-Star, an Olympic gold medalist. Oh, and he's only but a few players like Magic Johnson, Trae Young, John Stockton that have over 9 assists in 3 or more seasons. So, I gotta ask you guys, who really got it wrong? So let's begin with the top pick in the 2020 NBA draft.
With the first pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards from the University of Georgia.
The Minnesota Timberwolves selected Anthony Edwards as the number 1 overall pick, and the Timberwolves struck gold. Georgia University guard was a phenom. He averaged 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists a game. And if that wasn't enough for you, he was named second-team All-SEC and SEC Rookie of the Year his freshman season. Them numbers had the Timberwolves fans excited. Fast forward 5 years later, Anthony Edwards is a 3-time NBA All-Star, an above 25-plus scorer in the last 3 years, and he led the Minnesota Timberwolves to their second ever Western Conference Final appearance in 20 years. With his dramatic dunks, accurate shooting, and overall resilience on the court, many is considering him to be the brand new future face of the league. Now, if we're comparing Tyrese Haliburton, whose accomplishments and success in the NBA is very similar to Anthony Edwards, I'm going to give Anthony Edwards the slight edge on this one. So, grade A for the Timberwolves.
With the second pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman from the University of Memphis.
James Wiseman at pick 2 has been more of a disaster pick for the Warriors than any of us ever thought it would be. Wiseman came out of high school as the number 1 player in the nation. He would decide to play for Memphis with a legendary player Penny Hardaway as his coach. But sadly, things didn't work out so well in college for Wiseman. He would be investigated by the NCAA by financial assistance provided to his family by Coach Penny Hardaway. It all became too much of a problem for James Wiseman, and with just 3 games played in college, he would decide to leave Memphis and focus on the NBA draft. With the Warriors taking him with the second pick in the NBA draft, he came in with high expectations. But in somehow, some way, things went from bad to worse. In just his second year in the league, the Warriors sent him down to the G League. This surely killed whatever confidence he had left in his game, and he would later be traded to Detroit, playing behind Jalen Duran and Isaiah Stewart. He will only receive garbage minutes. With Detroit not working out for Wiseman, he took his game to the Pacers. But in just his first game on the floor, he would tear his left Achilles tendon, and later on he would be traded again to the Raptors, and then later on waived. And now you mean to tell me Tyrese Haliburton, a 6'5" passing defensive point guard, could not help this backcourt out? Steph Curry would have drooled to have this guy on the team, man. So I have to give this draft pick an F.
With the third pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills, California.
LaMelo Ball never went the college route. Instead, he would play basketball in Australia for the Hawks, the NBL League. He averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2.3 turnovers per game. He was named NBL Rookie of the Year, and most NBA mock drafts had him selected with the number 1 overall pick. But he would eventually be picked number 3 to the Hornets. During his rookie season, he would average 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, just starting in only 31 games. He would eventually win Rookie of the Year, proving to the Hornets that he is their franchise player. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You can't take Tyrese Haliburton over LaMelo Ball. Yes, I can. LaMelo Ball has only played in 211 games. He almost missed 200 games in 5 years. And comparing him to Tyrese Haliburton, who has played in more than 55 games his entire 5 years in the league, shows that he stays more healthy, he's a better passer, he makes his teammates better, and he's a better leader. Those are things that LaMelo just can't do. So I got to give this grade a C- for drafting LaMelo.
With the fourth pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Patrick Williams from Florida State University.
Woo. There is Patrick Williams, and he's going to Chicago to play for Billy Donovan, played for Leonard Hamilton at Florida State, who he's put a number of mature, hardworking guys into the league. Patrick Williams will be the next one. Perhaps you could say that Patrick Williams is a guy whose career is...
Patrick Williams is a 6'7" undersized power forward. He played basketball alongside future lottery pick Devin Vassell for Florida State. In just 1 year, he averaged 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block per game as their sixth man. Fast forward 5 years later, he is now considered a 3-and-D guy for the Chicago Bulls. And I don't understand why Tyrese Haliburton didn't go with the fourth pick either, because Chris Dunn was already over with as their point guard. They ended up getting Lonzo Ball the following year, so they desperately needed a point guard. So I'm going to have to give this draft grade a C.
With the fifth pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Isaac Okoro from Auburn University.
Coming out of Auburn, Isaac was a 6'5" small forward who averaged 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. He was a defensive specialist, better known as a 3-and-D wing, which led to the Cleveland Cavaliers drafting him. And he will often be tasked with guarding opposing teams' top scorers, and is considered the team's best perimeter defender. But over the next 5 years, Isaac would go through some pretty rough times. He would end up losing his starting position on the Cavs due to a shoulder injury. And on top of that, the Cavs traded for a player like DeAndre Hunter, basically the same player he is, but better, and added players like Max Strus to the lineup. So it kind of impacted his playing time, and his starting spot was pretty much taken. Now, Tyrese Haliburton and Darius Garland would have impacted each other so well. I'm so mad the Cavs didn't draft him. With Darius Garland being a scoring point guard and Tyrese mostly being a playmaking 6'5" defender who know how to get players open in their favorite spots, with that backcourt, there could have been so many varieties of offense tactics they could have ran, pick and rolls, ball movement, attacking the rim. So I'm going to have to give the Cavs a drafting grade D+.
With the sixth pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Onyeka Okongwu from the University of Southern California.
And here he is, Onyeka Okongwu, going in the first round.
Onyeka was a
overall,
6'9" center who
Mr.
dominated
basketball
college basketball
player in the
at
state of
USC.
California.
He would average 16
Only the
points,
fourth guy
9
to do
rebounds,
that.
and 3
Jason
blocks per
Kidd, Aaron
game.
Gordon,
He was
Tyson
an
Chandler,
incredible rim
all
protector.
also drafted
He blocked
in the
multiple
top
shots
six
in one-on-one
of the NBA
matchups
draft.
and was a great help defender with the Trojans. In his first few years in the league, he was just a backup for Clint Capella. And the only time the Hawks would really use him was just to get a spark off the bench. But coming into the 2024 season, he exploded, averaging 13 points, 9 rebounds off of 28 minutes on the floor. So right now, he's looking pretty solid. But if the Hawks would have took Tyrese, it would have made more sense. Tyrese is a playmaker, yes, and so is Trae Young. But Trae has shown you times that he can score without the ball in his hands. These two players, since they're so adept at finding open shots for teammates, and which can create a dynamic and exciting offense. I mean, with all the 3-and-D wing defenders they got and a pick-and-roll offense with Clint Capella, this team could have been something special. So me, grading their 6th pick, I had to give them a C-. Remember when I said the other picks were a disastrous pick?
With the 7th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Killian Hayes from Lakeland, Florida.
Well, I haven't seen a pick this bad since the Great Depression. This guy has so many red flags. I mean, every time I would watch him play, it just seemed like a girl who didn't shave his legs. I mean, during his rookie season, he only played in 26 games due to a hip injury he had suffered, which had to sideline him for 3 months. And if that wasn't bad enough, his 4 years he spent with Detroit, he only averaged double-digit numbers one time in a season. So I'm just going to ask you guys, does this look like the player you would take over Tyrese Haliburton? I mean, Detroit even drafted 2 other players in this draft. Isaiah Stewart, an interior presence, and an outside shooter, Sadiq Bey. With them failing to draft Tyrese, I would have to give them an F.
With the 8th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Obi Toppin from Dayton University.
What an emotional moment for the Dayton Flyer. Getting a round of applause from Adam Silver. It wasn't really that long ago that this would seem to be an unthinkable turn in the career of Obi Toppin, who was likely regarded, if regarded at all, as a recruit coming out of high school. He is absolute showtime. He didn't have any Division I scholarship.
Coming out of Dayton University, Obi, standing at 6'9", was a high-flying, eagle-soaring dunker. He would average 20 points, 7 rebounds per game in college, and when he got to the Knicks, he was supposed to be the next Julius Randle replacement. But somehow, some way, Julius decided to play the best basketball he ever played in his entire career, making the Knicks lose focus on developing Obi. And if that wasn't bad for Obi, Tibb and Obi had an altercation after a playoff loss to Miami Heat. His future with the New York Knicks was cut short after that. Now, he would eventually be traded to the Pacers, where he would have a nice, good role in. So let me ask you guys, would the Knicks love a player like Tyrese? Well, the Knicks finished as the number 2 worst assist team that year and struggled guarding guards at the 3. And with Tyrese Haliburton being a guy that get over 10 assists a game, he could have definitely helped this team out. So I got to get their drafting grade a C+, because Obi Toppin is really good. He just haven't had the time to really show you anything. Before joining the NBA, Denny was already a professional. He established himself as a top international player, particularly in Europe, winning Israel MVP and winning 3 championships in Israel. Denny was a 6'9" wing with guard skills during his time with the Wizards. He showed flashes but was looking pretty much like a role player until he was traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. And with that team, he was looking like a player you could build around, averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. Now, this seemed like a pretty good pick, but I was just wondering, imagine if Tyrese Haliburton was actually drafted to the Wizards. Around that time, Russell Westbrook was there, so this would have been perfect for him. He could have either been a backup learning behind Russell Westbrook, or they would have put him as a 3-and-D guard for him in the starting lineup. Either way, give him 2 years to develop, and he would have turned into an all-star. The Wizards get a B. I mean, Denny was developing into a future NBA star, and I believe he will be one soon. Jalen is a 6'9" power forward who played college
With the
basketball.
10th pick in the 2020
he would average
NBA
15
Draft,
points, 10 rebounds,
the Phoenix
2
Suns
blocks a
select
game. But what really made him
Jalen Smith
stand out was
from
his
the
tenacity
University
and
of
height.
Maryland.
Jalen's career would begin with the Phoenix Suns but things did not pan out so well.
So
In his
Jalen
first 2
Smith
years, he
out
got
of
sent to the
Maryland,
G League, and
averaged a big
currently now
double-double
he is with
and
the
2.5
Chicago
blocks.
Bulls as a bench player. So things didn't pan out well for him, but hey, that's just how the NBA goes. You don't know your future. Now imagine if the Phoenix Suns would have drafted Tyrese Haliburton. He would have sat behind Chris Paul and learned so much from him. I mean, Chris Paul is arguably one of the greatest passers of our generation, and Tyrese Haliburton would have been a phenomenal player, probably even better than he is now. But I'm gonna have to give that grade a D because Devin Vassell was a 6'5" guard from Florida State. Over there, he would average 12 points and 5 rebounds a game. As soon as he would join the Spurs, that's when you will see a big improvement in his game. In each following year, Devin Vassell has improved his points, rebounding, and assists. Now, if Tyrese Haliburton was drafted to the Spurs, I believe he would have made them way better. I mean, he's a passing guard. He makes players around him. He shows great leadership. But, Spurs went the other way. I'm not going to fault him for it because Devin Vassell is still a good all-around player. So I give the Spurs grade a B+. But at the end of the day, if you see what type of player Tyrese Haliburton is turning into, I mean, he is turning into a player that might be talked about for ages. And looking at all these guys that were taken before Tyrese Haliburton, I mean, you have some hits, some misses, and a couple of what-if stories. But when Tyrese Haliburton was selected with the 12th pick, the Kings knew they had someone great, but they didn't stick to the plan. But this goes to show you that sometimes you just got to go with your gut. I'm wondering if some of these GMs wish they would have went back in the draft and actually selected Haliburton. But tell me what you guys think.